Hey guys, welcome back to the Snap Ring Chronicles. Today we're going to go a little bit deeper into the New Britain design of ratchets, the infamous New Britain design of round head ratchets. And yeah, this is what we see right here. This is like the earlier pattern, New Britain patent, I guess before the 60s, maybe late 50s. But before we jump into this, if you can give me a like and also subscribe to this channel if you find any of this type of content interesting or helpful in any way, just press the button, give me a like, or better yet, subscribe. Okay, like I said, this is the earlier version of the New Britain design. On the back it has just one patent and a patent pending, and this one you don't see as often as the more prevalent one. This was a little earlier. Let me scoot up and show this. Here's the what we're more familiar with. This is the Husky. This is Husky also. This is the Husky CB-42, and this is the CB-43. This one is the earlier version, and same basic design as this one, but they did change a few things. And here's this one, and see if I can get in. Yeah, make a little bit more room here. Okay, there's this one, and here are the parts for this one. This is the later on version of the same design ratchet, and we're just going to look at the differences and the manufacturing and basic stuff like that. I think they did start cutting a few corners later on, maybe to make manufacture easier, possibly. I know they did make some stuff easier for you to take apart. Well, let's jump into that right now. First, let's look at both ratchets. And you see this one, the profile of the head is rounded, and this one is not as much rounded. Actually, it's flat, and it's pretty hard degree here, like a 90-degree angle. You can see here it's kind of a softer angle. And the newer version, newer relatively, because these were made like in the 60s to the early 70s. And you see that this one is pretty much, they broached it, and it's pretty the same on both sides. This one has a lip here, so it's not broached all the way through like this earlier one is. They're both 60 teeth each. And this one here is interesting because as this one has a cap that just falls into like that and is held by that lip, this here has a more complicated cap which has a ring that you have to compress. You have to grab those two little prongs and compress them in. See if I can show a little bit of that. You gotta compress them in like that. I guess get a needle nose and stick it in there, compress them, so this will pop off of here. So that's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit time consuming. And this one has a snap ring, which is easier to take off. This one has an internal coil ring, which is a bit harder. Another thing that this one, the earlier version, had is a plastic O-ring that sat underneath the ring, snap ring here, when it goes in on the mechanism. So I think that was to take up some of the play in the mechanism, because a lot of these newer ones, if you shake them, you will hear the switch, like click 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 click. This one probably not as much, because they did have this plastic O-ring, which is a bit fragile, so be careful with that. Okay, the pawls. The pawls have the same amount of teeth, like 12 teeth, and here is, you can see the differences. This is the older one, here's the newer one. You see the prongs are a little bit rounder on the older one, and they're a little bit more square on the newer design. They still, both of them have a wedge here on the sides in the front of the paw. Here's the bottom. Here you see the spring where it sits on a spring. Here is another big difference. The difference is that this one, there's a little hole in the mechanism housing for a spring, and here's the spring. First, let's compare the two springs. You can see this one is a bit longer than that one, and that is because, put that in, this one has a ball bearing. That one, the later one, doesn't. So there's a ball bearing that sits on the spring that switches the paw on the earlier design. And that was something that was kind of, I wasn't sure about, because before I had one of these, I've had a few of these, and I never found the ball. But if you look at the patent drawings, you see a ball, and I always wondered, did they ever make one where the ball sat under the paw? And here it is. Yeah, they did. On the earlier design, they did make the mechanism where there was a ball underneath the spring, beneath the paw. Here on the switching plates, you see the difference. This is the newer design, here's the older design. You see there's kind of a different cutout here, different shape. Here are the springs. This spring seems a bit thicker than this one. Let me see. Am I imagining that? Maybe I'm just imagining that. For some reason, this one seemed a bit thicker than that one. But what is thicker here is that the new plate, as opposed to the old plate, see if you catch that. This one is a little bit thicker. This plate is thicker than this plate. You can see it here. Oh, this one's thinner. And then the top switch plate, you can see also there's a difference. Here's the newer design, here's the older one. This one looks like it was just turned over. They turned over they cut out and turned over a leaf there, and here they just punched, it looks like they punched out a protrusion there. And this one has this whole added, metal shape here. This one's pretty just solid round, just circular, with that little cutout there that was turned over. And these are pretty much the same thickness. Yeah, these are pretty much the same. Okay, and in the housings, see, the earlier one wasn't chromed. I don't think so. It doesn't look like it was chromed. This one, you can see obviously it's chromed. Some of the chrome is flaking off there. You can see that. And this one had this lip. Had this lip here. The newer one has like that enclosed lip. This one has no lip. It's just flat. Just a flat. But basically the same. See here how that lip sticks out a bit there. The ball detents, they look similar, same size, same quality. Okay. And the little snap rings that hold in the two plates, they're pretty much similar. I don't see a difference there in the snap rings. And I just wanted to show you the channels here where this ring holds, and that ring holds in here, and this ring with the plastic O-ring holds in there. And again, with this design, the broaching is top notch. Here you can see this one surprisingly had, I don't think, so much use. Not sure what these numbers stand for, but they all kind of have these numbers. And this one has like a 19, and this one has a 68. This one, like I said, doesn't seem like it had much use. The teeth are in pretty nice shape. You can see all 60 teeth. And the broaching is, again, top notch. They all look very uniform and pretty nice. Then later on, they came out with the CB-45, and I think they had a different philosophy back then, because they went from 60 teeth to 45 teeth. So they actually went down in teeth count, instead of like now where we're on the race to see how many teeth we can get into a ratchet. Back then, I guess they decided, oh, we're having too many teeth, it's probably easier just to make 45, and that's what they went with. So here's a Husky CB-45. Pretty much the same, except this pawl I think has 9 teeth, and the head has 45 teeth. Just a glimpse at that. So okay guys, that's all we have for this video. So yeah, I just wanted to bring out some of the interesting features of this whole evolution of this pretty popular and groundbreaking, I guess, ratchet design that kind of, you know, put a spark and revolutionized, if you want to go that far, this whole round head ratchet style, with this this leap forward from the basic, what was the basic back then, I guess the SK design, still basic now, where you had the one, you know, teetering pawl, and here you have this design which, you know, kind of was a leap forward. Alright guys, until next time.